Is there a dream you've always wanted to accomplish? Is a really cool thing you've always wanted to do, but you are petrified and so scared and just don't even know where to start? I'm going to help you on today's episode. I am Esty Rappaport, your host of the Life Fix University podcast, and here to help you rewire your brain to be more efficient and effective. I am super excited for today's episode, but first, if you haven't taken the mindset assessment to see whether your mindset is helping you or stopping you from being productive, you're going to want to go right now to lifefixuniversity.com/mindset to take that assessment and see where you're standing today and your next steps of where you have to go. Okay. Now I am going to go back a couple of years before COVID. It was actually the summer before COVID. I've always wanted to travel. My whole entire life I was like, okay, I want to travel. I just need to see the world. I know what's inside of me. This is what I've got to do. And coming from my background and different things, it wasn't like really a type of thing that we just do. But then I went to school in England, and in England, it is much more. People just travel much, much more because European countries are much closer together and they were still part of the EU. And it's really easy to travel. More like in America, we go to different states, but we don't especially go to different countries as much. So I got to meet all my friends who started traveling as families. And after college, they were ready to go and travel the world by themselves. And all of a sudden, I was in it. My friends wanted to travel with me, and I was super, super excited. This actually wasn't the year of COVID. I think it was the year before. I can't keep track anymore. Maybe even the year before that. I called my friend up, or like texting her, and I was like telling her, yeah, I have to come. Like we made this some sort of like deal that I'm going to come and visit her on her half birthday. And then it was like working out, trying to figure out dates of when it could come. And she's like, do you want to go to Rome instead? And I was like, yeah, I want to go to Rome. I want to see this world. I want to go and travel. I want to go somewhere and do something. And I was like, so excited. Now, let me remind you, I've never traveled to major countries by myself. I traveled to Israel multiple times because I have a lot of family there. And I've traveled to England by myself. So I have traveled. I'm not like as scared of traveling, but I've never like arranged the whole trip with all the tickets, all the hotels, all the adventures, all the activities. And I like to do stuff. Like we're not just going to a beach and sit on the beach. If we're going to Rome, we're going to do things every single minute. We're like not stopping for a sec. And I was like, yes, let's do this. But I had no idea how we're going to do this. However, the very first thing I did was just book the ticket. Booked, and then afterwards, we're going to go and figure out all the details. Now, why am I telling this story? Because if there is something that you want to accomplish, if there's a dream you want to do, we have to do what Noah said in the previous episode. You have to take that first step and you need to start. We actually spoke about this in episode 205, where we spoke about clear perception and making a starting point. So you do want to go and make sure you're making yourself a starting point. But then what comes next, and I want to focus on a little bit more today, is breaking it down to smaller tasks. It doesn't have to be this whole overwhelming things where you don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. You don't know that, and you're just never going to do it. And that's why you never accomplish your dream. Or in my case, it was traveling the world. Now I travel constantly. By the time I'm recording this, I'm going to Greece next week. I'm super excited. Even though by the time you're hearing this, I will already have been way past. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your big, huge task of what you want to do, and you're going to make your starting point. You're going to do your starting point. Okay. Like I said, if you want to hear more about that, go back to episode 205. And then you're going to break it down. It's a strategy that we use to help us with clear perception, to help us be able to see things in an organized manner and make it into smaller tasks. So instead of trying to have to arrange, let's say for this whole trip to Rome, you're booking a hotel, you're booking tickets, you are arranging for a babysitter, you are working out restaurants, you're working out activities, you're breaking it down into smaller things. That way you could actually go and figure it out. So it's not this whole big task. It's doing it small. So this happens like everywhere. Like dinner, you cooked so many times, you don't have a problem. But like for a younger person who's just cooking dinner for the first time, it's super overwhelming. But when you say, okay, we're first planning what we're cooking, we're going to the grocery store, we're making sure we have everything, then we're going to cook just the main dish, then the side, one thing at a time, then it makes it easier. And then all of a sudden you have you have your whole dinner. So you have this when you're planning a party, when you're doing a big task at work, when you have to organize a big room, instead of going, oh my God, I have to organize something and I don't know how to do it. It's break it down to smaller tasks. Now I'm doing not even just this whole desk. Now I'm doing just this shelf, not even just this whole closet, just this section of the closet. Make it into smaller tasks. And then first of all, you'll feel that like sense of accomplishment. They did something smaller. And second of all, your brain won't just get so overwhelmed by everything that you have to do, and will actually be able to go and accomplish what you want to go and accomplish. So your challenge for today, I'm sure you could guess, is take your big dream and first think of your starting point. Do your starting point. It could be something tiny about reaching out to someone, about learning more about this, and then break it down to smaller tasks. Now you could take every task and make it even smaller, but start by making it into 5 tasks. And then when you work on that one task, maybe you'll even make it into smaller. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
That's all for this episode of the Life Picks University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.